Hello, and welcome to Animal Chiropractic Clinic Chatter, a podcast where Dr. O from All Creatures Every Spine interviews doctors and animal owners that utilize animal chiropractic to get their unique perspectives. Yes, it's really a thing. Dr. O utilizes his 30 years of experience as both an animal chiropractor and veterinarian, and to dig deep into the discussion of complex issues affecting the lives of your animal friends and companions. Join us for this educational episode. Thanks for joining us for this portion of the episode as Dr. O begins to answer the question, what is animal chiropractic? He will look at how the chiropractic adjustment is a valuable and viable treatment for what ails your animals.
Standard Process is a third-generation family-owned company in rural Wisconsin. You could say we just make nutritional supplements, but we know we're changing lives. We grow ingredients on our own certified organic farm without pesticides or herbicides because we think they should be as close to nature as possible. Quality is our priority. That's why we do everything right here, from hand-picking the seeds to delivery, so you know exactly what goes into every bottle.
Good morning, everybody. How are y'all doing today? I'm Dr. O. I'm your host of Animal Chiropractic Clinic Chatter. What is animal chiropractic? Well, animal chiropractic is the most logical, wisest, most reasonable, and most one of the oldest health cares around. All right, and we look at things and we got modern science and all that, but let's talk about it. So health is really determined by our nervous system. How's your nervous system working? We know the more and more that we learn about the body and the way the body works, we know that the immune system and the brain and the nervous system are interrelated and very important. When the nervous system is working at 100%, then the immune system can work at 100%. And it doesn't matter. We also know the body heals from above down, inside out. The brain controls everything in the body and helps the body heal. When we cut ourselves, we put a Band-Aid on. It's not the Band-Aid that makes the body heal, it's the body that makes the body heal. The body heals above down, inside out. All our animals are the same way. Any healthcare decisions that we make that ignore the way the body functions, the physiology of the body, the fact that the body can heal itself, the fact that the brain controls everything. And so if we have interference in the nervous system, then the body will be at discomfort or dis-ease. It will not be comfortable, and if we're not comfortable, we don't function at 100%, and then all kinds of stuff happens. So anything that like that. And then, reasonable. What's the most reasonable reason that people get sick? That animals get sick. How come only one horse in the pasture gets sick when we have a thing like strangles? How come, when we have shipping fever, go through a herd of cows, maybe half of them get sick, but not 100% of them die. A certain percentage die, but not all of them. Why? Because the nervous system. They have a problem with their immune system. Why does everybody not have diabetes? Well, because the ones with problems with their immune system, but also problems with diet, exercise, all the environmental things that go into that. And then, who do we trust for our health care? Above, down, inside out. That's huge. Because, who is your health care idol? Is it your own body? Is that your healthcare idol? Is it your dog's own body? Or is it somebody that has some initials after their name? So remember, animal chiropractic, the body heals above, down, inside out. It's the most logical, educational, reasonable, and realistic way for the body to heal. Above, down, inside out. Have a great day. Until next time.
Make sure to visit our website, allcreatureseveryspine.com, where you can subscribe to the show and learn more about getting your animals adjusted. If you are in the Meridian, Texas area, drop in on a Tuesday afternoon to get your animals adjusted. If that isn't possible, schedule a consultation on your animal's health with Dr. O. You can also purchase a copy of Dr. O's book. Yes, it's really a thing.
Helping others experience an abundant life with the gift, art, and blessing that is Animal Chiropractic is our sole mission at All Creatures Every Spine. It's what we do. It's what we love. It truly is what keeps us motivated to help people just like you. I truly love the art of chiropractic. It drives me to provide the highest level of chiropractic possible. And as fellow chiropractic business owners, it's that love that drives us to become better. However, the reality is that sometimes running a successful business can be challenging. Sometimes there can be obstacles to overcome. We all know the old saying, if it were easy, everyone would do it. Well, one thing that is really easy is marketing our clinic with a professional animal chiropractic website by the Chiro website pro, Tony Seymour. He's a professional web designer, and his team at Chiro Website Pro take good care of us. They simply make marketing our practice 100% hassle-free. If you're looking for the #1 hands-free way to market your practice, give the Chiro Website Pro a call at 423-779-4630. Or simply visit www.chirowebsitepro.com and make sure you ask them about the special ACES discount and let them know Dr. Amy and Dr. O sent you. You'll be glad.
Join us as Dr. O interviews a certified chiropractor, veterinarian, or an animal owner. These enthusiastic people explain how they utilize animal chiropractic to alter the lives of the animals in their communities.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Animal Chiropractic Clinic Chatter. I'm your host, Dr. O, and I'm here today with Dr. Jamie Lucia from out west. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your practice to start with?
Sure. I'm happy to be here, and I love animal chiropractic. My practice is based in Los Altos, California, and Carmel Valley, California. So I have two practices. So we're a little bit south of San Francisco, about 45 minutes south of San Francisco for the Northern California one. And then Carmel Valley is about another hour and a half south of there. So we typically see 3.5 days a week, we see horses. And then 3 days a week, we see 3.5 days a week, we see dogs. So I'm typically in the office in Los Altos for dogs, and I have an associate that's the humans. And I'm here Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday morning in Los Altos. And opposite days, I'm down in Carmel, Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. And I love it.
Cool.
And so we typically see, in California, there's, as you know, pockets of horses all over the world. So we typically see show horses, race horses, and performance horses, Western-based horses, English performance horses, one out in the field, and then the dogs, of course, in the office. And I attended Parker 2013, and I've been going strong with animals ever since. I also mentored 2 animal chiropractic clubs, Life West and Palmer West, and that's just sensational. I'm about 40 minutes from Life West and 20 minutes from Palmer West. And we've been very happy with the students that have been in your program, come out of your program. I have currently 2 of my students in there now, and they love it. Dr. Sarah was there a couple weeks ago, and
Yes.
she was on fire when she came back. So, thank you.
Well, good. We like those feedback. We try to instill confidence in our students. That they can do it.
Yeah.
Because I think,
you do.
I think that's one of the biggest things that is chiropractors and veterinarians both, when they see it done, until they actually feel it done, they don't know how hard, how fast, I think there's a lot of,
Right.
we hear a lot of, oh my gosh, it was easier than I thought it would be. Once you know the anatomy and the proper movement, then the adjustment is really the easy thing.
Yes. And I had a chance to review this curriculum you cover, and it's amazing how much the students are covering. And the other nice thing is, which was not true when I went to school, is that students are adjusting the whole time, which
Correct.
is sensational, because they're adjusting under you and Dr. Amy's direction, which is wonderful.
Yes, and we're the
They're not
only
accomplished adjusters.
we're the only school that does that. The others still do a lot of hands-on with setups, but no actually adjusting. So we when we moved to our new facility, that was one of the things that we said, we don't see any confidence in these doctors. And that's not good, because nobody wants to go to a doctor that's not confident. And
No.
I was talking to one of the older chiropractors, one of my mentors, Dr. Ava Frick, on a previous segment, and she was saying how it took her, I think she said 1.5 years before she felt confident. And I don't know how long it took you, but I know 2013 was the first year we were not involved in the Parker program.
Right. So what I did, I partnered with animal chiropractors back here. So then when I came back from Parker, then I went under the direction and supervision of 2 or 3 other animal chiropractors that were already here for equine and canine. So I was lucky and blessed in that respect, because if I had to do it on my own and come back and practice on my own, it would probably have been taking me 1.5 years, and I probably would have had to take some other seminars.
Yeah. So anyway, what's your biggest win with animal chiropractic? Everybody
What's my
likes
biggest-
win story.
What's
Your biggest win.
my biggest what?
Win.
Oh, biggest win. Oh gosh, one.
Well-
Well, I think that it had to be in the canine world. I think that we had a dog come in for his first adjustment about 6 months ago, and we were the last stop for this dog before the owners decided to put the dog down. A big German Shepherd, beautiful dog, 13 and a half years old, then now 14. And the wife wanted to put the dog down, and the husband wanted to give it one last shot. So one of the veterinary clinics in Los Gatos referred them to me. I actually went on site the first few times because they couldn't get the dog in the car. And I came to the dog and laying on his side, eyes were glassy, couldn't lift his head, of course couldn't get up. He had that. So I also have done a lot of energy work, animal communication energy. deep in there. Adjusted his chest, and I adjusted his lower thoracic, and I adjusted his pelvis, and he was able to raise his head afterwards. I raised his head, but some of that deep light came back in his eye.
Cool.
So I left. I came back the next day. Adjusted him again, and he was able to sit up. I came back the third day, adjusted him, and I drove back up to my office, and I got a phone call from the owner, the husband, and he said, he's just not doing much better. My wife really wants to put him down. It hasn't changed at all since day 2 and day 3. And I said, well, you have to give it some time. I'm not a miracle worker. This dog's 13 and a half years old, and it's going to take some time, but I sense that he's still in there fighting. And let's just give it some time and give him a chance. 2 hours later, I got another phone call from him, and he was crying. They had gone inside. The dog, it was warm then. They left the dog outside, and they were in the kitchen. They heard the lights went on outside, and they heard they had a chime when someone steps foot, a sensor on their front walkway and up to the stairs of their front room and in the door. And they went out, and here he had gotten up from where he was lying down, walked all the way up the walkway, up the steps and into the house. And so that was 6 months ago. I still see him once a week. He's eating and moving the same and happy, and they have their dog back. The amazing thing is it's like delivering happiness, so that I feel that these creatures are here and we're blessed to be working with them, and they're easy to work with. Their energy is beautiful. And our goal in our practice is that to just give every creature its best chance at the longest and healthiest life. And so that's probably my biggest win to date, but there are lots of wins behind that.
Oh yeah.
I love it.
And we people say all the time, what's our biggest win? Well, man, like you said, which one? We have numerous biggest wins. One of my top biggest wins is a little 8-year-old girl and a show goat. And she couldn't get it to brace or to stand up and show properly. And with the 4-H'ers and FFA kids, we have a special. And we charge them by the year, and it's a lot reduced rate, but it's by the year. And I refuse to talk to anybody but the animal owner for that price. So mom and dad have to zip it. You can't help.
Wow.
And so that's done a couple things for us. One is I've seen some young like 7-8-year-olds come in, how's your animal? They, every mom says everything, and they get to where they're coming in and they're like, how's your animal? Well, it's not doing this, and he's sore here, and this isn't moving right. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess we better get to work then, hadn't we? But I adjusted lower neck on this one, and I said, okay, try it. Let's see what happened. And she went, sat up, and the goat braced, and she went, it's magic.
It is.
And it is. It's just, but it's chiropractic. It
is.
Yeah.
I think as chiropractors, sometimes we are so used to the miracles, but for someone that has never seen it before, every time I see this dog, his owners, but now the wife too, is so thankful. And they almost cry every time they see me. It's so touching. It's like such a beautiful relationship they have now with the dog, and that we all have together.
I'm sometimes amazed that in multi-dog households or multi-horse animal households, when I ask them, like we have some clients, that we've been seeing multiple animals for multiple years, right? Because I've been doing this for 20 some years now, animal chiropractic. And 1998 is what my certificate said. So that's 23 years now, almost 24. But anyway, so I asked this one couple, and they have a world. Back in 2016, they were going to retire this German Shepherd competition because she wasn't doing very good. In fact, she'd never won a major show, but they thought genetically she should. And we adjusted her, and she made the world team in 2017, and 2018, and 2019, 20, and 21. For 5 years, this dog made the world team. Her puppies are worth like all kinds of money. And of course, we've been adjusting, the rest of the dogs too. And so I interviewed them, and what's your favorite thing about animal chiropractic? And they said, well, we've got Sassy. She was 12 and a half years old when she came to you. She's this little Papillon that just runs around and is annoying. And we were ready to put her to sleep when we brought her to you at 12 and a half. We just threw her in the truck because we knew we were coming to see you for Zora, the champion dog. And we just didn't think you'd do anything for her, but we thought it. And now she's 17 and a half, and she's still running around.
Gone strong. Good.
And that was their biggest, not the 5 trips to the World Games that they've had because of this dog or any of that stuff. It was the family pet.
That's great.
Yeah. And in with horses, so what's your biggest win with a horse?
Biggest win with the horse is a show jumper. She's Grand Prix jumper, and she had suspensory injury and came back from that, and just couldn't get her quite up to speed. She just couldn't get back on the game. She was refusing jumps, but everything seemed sound with her, and she couldn't have gone back to the arena. It was not a bad suspensory. And so they brought her to, I went out to see her. They got in contact with me about to see her, and they were just ready to retire her, but she was only, I think, 9 years old at that time. And very expensive horse, beautiful girl. And so they couldn't figure out what's wrong. But she went back in the arena. She was fine on the flat. She was fine over fences, but she got to the big fences. She just kept refusing. I did a gait analysis, neurological reflex checks, and tuned into her energy. And to me, it seemed like it was not even related to the suspensory. Now, mind you, she had been up at Davis for the surgery, so she had been in a trail. She had been a fairly long trailer ride to and from. So I checked her atlas. Her atlas was so subluxated. Adjusted her atlas. Next day, back in the arena, whoop, over the fence. So typically I do a lot of show horses. I'm on site for a couple big show groups. And so I find that now my clients get that atlas adjusted as soon as they get to the show ground out of the trailer. But they never checked their atlas, and they really wouldn't. But I could sense by the way she was, just the way she was traveling and her energy level, that it had to do with subluxation of the atlas and more behavioral. So I tried to tell, and I told the owner it's really like I was trying to perform on behalf of migraine headaches. He said, can't do. She just didn't. She wanted to, but she just couldn't. And she couldn't get her head. She couldn't get her head to where she needed to get it to bring her hind end under and her core and lift. And so that's a big win because she was expensive. They could not figure out what it was, and they were ready to retire her and turn her into a broodmare at that point. So,
yeah.
But those wins we see very similar wins, each and every day. I think in the dog world, you see people, more ready just to put the dog down if they have a disc problem because they didn't want them. And my clients here now are very well educated into giving the dog the healthiest life they can with the diet and exercise. A lot of vets say that this fascination the Americans have with processed food, and not only our diet, but our animals' diet, is probably one of the leading causes of early degeneration disease, for the dog. So we have a really well-rounded program. We work with a lot of holistic vets, so we do our best to keep the horses and the dogs on target. You just don't see that. The people tend to work a little bit harder when they have a $300,000 horse rather than a companion. Yeah, sometimes. So I think that the wins are and like the last stop before they go back to the vet to end their life. So I mean, that way you feel like you're saving the life. The horse will just retire. The dog, they'll just sometimes just that one last stop. And so there's a lot of wins, like the dog Roxy I talked about before.
Right.
Just that, even when I saw Roxy, it's like, wow, look at that. And then the other horse, the other mare, Fiona, that I was speaking of. Mm-hmm. Every day, right?
Yep, every day.
Every day there's more and more miracles that come in and out the door.
And you mentioned that the pre-processed food and everything in dogs, but we see the inflammation in horse guts too. And some of the food that we feed these horses, it's like, ugh.
Yeah.
That's not horse food. I mean, the ingredients in there. When it's causing inflammation. Cook this stuff, and when we cook it, even though they're good ingredients going in, when we extrude it or cook it to high levels, we convert it to a lot of starches and stuff.
Oh, right, yeah.
There's not a lot of starches on the label, but the extrusion process or the,
exactly,
turns it into starches. And now we have diabetes, insulin resistant diabetic, metabolic syndrome mostly. We can just get in there and get their diet a little better and adjust them so that they handle it. It's cool.
Yeah, the diets. I mean, there's most of the barns that I'm with now. I mean, there are barns you walk into, every horse gets the same food, same supplements, same hay. And so we've finally, learned to work with them and educate them that they're not all the same. Now that's in the show horse world. Typically, when you get your individual barns or more holistic barns, every horse is on a different regime. So, and it's healthier for the horses too to be out and turn out with the mental health and physical health. They can be turned out with other horses and be happy during the day instead of being in a stall. So there's a lot of differentials that feed into how well that horse is going to digest its food and avoid colic if they're out moving around, doing what they're supposed to be doing, letting the intrinsic muscles work because they're moving, as opposed to being in a stall like 22 hours a day. Mm-hmm. So when you're in that kind of situation where horses can't get regular turnout and forage, then I feel like they're really never 100%. They're never 100% mental or physical because they're not moving.
Right.
And what is essential for life? Movement. So.
We were out in your neck of the woods, probably a little bit north of you, I think, at the Equine Affair several years ago. I don't exactly remember when it was, but we were out there and we went to Racetrack Row because this one lady had a horse that hadn't eaten in 3 days. And she said, can you come look at it? And we were like, well, we're not licensed, but we can come look at it and see if it's an emergency or not, what's going on. And so we got the horse out of the stall, which was the first time the horse had been out of the stall in 3 days.
Wow.
And because it wasn't eaten, so she was worried about it. Got it out of the stall to do an exam on it, and it starts eating grass immediately. She said, well, he won't eat any hay. Why doesn't he eat the hay, blah, blah. Well, we put him back in. There were the walls back there were like 16 foot tall, solid wood, no windows. So basically the horse was in a cave and there was only one exit and it was this little window. And so she spent all her time looking for the lions to make sure there weren't any lions coming to get her.
Right.
She could relax and eat. I would go stand by her and she'd eat. So sometimes something as simple as putting a little window, in a stall
You're right.
makes a huge difference for this energy and the I'm not alone. Because horses are herd animals. They need to see other horses.
Well, yes, safety's in numbers, so they need to be actually with the other horse. It's really hard on them. I mean, so you also look at the gastro problems in horses that are confined and ulcers because they're under constant duress because they can't be with other horses and they need to be with other horses because that's where safety is in numbers for them.
Right. Big numbers, yes. Yeah.
Right.
Because you only have to be faster than the slowest person in the room to get away from the bear. So.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Too bad for that slowest person.
That's right. You don't have to be the fastest person in the room. Just faster than one. So anyway, what do you wish all your animal owners knew about animal chiropractic?
What do they all do?
What do you wish they knew?
Most of them.
What do you wish they knew?
We spend a lot of time educating them, but the first thing we have them change is their diet. And usually the diet's the biggest thing. We work with a lot of the vets and the owner trying to get the dogs off of medications they're on as much as we can. We're finding that older dogs that come in, we've got a lot of like 14, 15, 16-year-old dogs. We have a lot of young dogs too, but we have our share of older dogs. And there's one particular dog, he is a pug. He had a list of medications like I've never seen. He had to at least maybe 12 to 14 alleys down the fur. But look at the GI tract from that, right? From all those medications. His liver enzymes were up. His GI was a mess. So he went on we use a lot of standard process, and we work with a couple holistic. Well, we work with a lot of holistic vets here, and some naturopaths too. So for each animal, they get their own individualized protocol based upon their blood work and their presentation. So probably the biggest thing is diet, if we change first, and then we introduce the supplements gradually. And exercise level, have them try to be off leash, outside. We do a lot of core work with them. We start them out with flexibility work with circles and bending and figure eights, and then move them into core work with hill work or hiking, or having our clients set up a little agility course in the backyard. And then we encourage, if they can, to give the dog a job, because most of the breeds were bred for a purpose, and so they often don't feel really like a German Shepherd does not feel fulfilled sitting around the house. So we try to get them to do nose work or some herding work, and they have different farms that actually engage that type of thing, that activity for their dog, where the dog go out and herd. And we also encourage them to interact with other dogs first as they need their social needs fulfilled. So it's usually, how you give information. I love chiropractic. I love to educate, and I do a lot of research, and I do go 110% for my clients, but I give them small doses each day. So like I said, diet usually is first, and exercise and supplements, and then mental health. We do a lot of research into the family relationships, the dynamics of the relationship in the house. We have a canine energy worker that comes in twice a month. We have a canine naturopath that comes in twice a month. And then we're blessed enough to have quite a few, 2 or 3 really good holistic vets that are nearby, and 2 that are mobile that we were able to refer clients to, and a couple of really good physical therapy places for the dog. The canine energy worker, more often than not, ends up working with the person, because it's different in the horse world. But the horse world, I typically don't see the individual owners. I typically see the trainer or the veterinarian in the big barns, and sometimes in the smaller barns. But within the dog world, you see, and the cat world, seeing a person every day, and you pretty quick with a visit where there's a problem there in that relationship. So she comes twice a month, and she normally will work on them together. And sometimes she'll spend more time working on the human than the hound, because that's where the problem is. And so that's really fun to work with. And people really seem to get it when you give them little doses that get them engaged and give them hope. A lot of times they're making their own food. the dogs, and they love it. So,
Yeah.
So just changing the lifestyle like you would with the human patient.
All
You look at
right.
their diet, their exercise, their mental health, their social health, relationships, and the same with animal world. People need to understand that an animal makeup its own personality. They can be right-sided, left-sided, right brain, left brain. So they start to see the individual, and that changes the dynamics of the relationship. So it actually really is a relationship now, rather than a one-way street with someone just taking care of an animal without asking him what its needs are and what its wants are.
All right.
So very holistic.
Well, it looks like our time is about up. So thank you so much for spending time with us tonight.
Oh,
And I know the weather's not very good out there, but we appreciate you spending time with us. You'll be able to see us on allcreatures.live. I think this should air in 2 weeks. And for all of those you out there that are listening tonight, remember, the body heals only one way: above, down, inside out. We have to give it the tools to do it and then stay out of its way. And so thank you again, and until next time.
thank you.
If you are or know a veterinarian or chiropractor, or a student of either of these professions, visit our website, Animal Chiropractic Education Source, to see how to become certified in animal chiropractic. Start improving the lives of the animals around you. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe to the ACES channels so that you never miss an exciting episode.